another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm the Resolves, and this is JPS Control. So what do we have going on here? We've got a Justice Primal Shadow deck, aiming to control the board, try and win the game with the Inquisitor, Makto, Harbinger, and Eilyn Clumber. Got a few things going on in the deck. We do get to play Wisdom of the Elders, and we also get to play a 5th copy in the Privilege rank, which is while we're slightly higher on the Justice Sigils than I might otherwise be, but this will really help us to hit the haymakers in the late game and really help us to just play the harsh rule on time. I really like Permafrost at the moment, especially against opposing Maktos, just to buy some time to be able to feed in time it or just sweep it up in harsh rule and deal with it later. But as it's a slight number with the islands we've got, I don't want to play like a full playset of this, just really want some sort of cheap answers to threats. So we're just playing with Permafrost for now, just one of. Also got some more answers that are a little bit more narrow, like the Annihilate, some Vanquishes, and the Vara's Favours. And we've got more stable removal in the Slays and the Harsh Rules. Something else I wanted to try out in the deck was the Rain of Frogs. I'm not sure how cute this is going to be, but I'll be quite interested to see our opponent go deep with Frogs, and then we follow up with a Black Sky. One omission from the deck is perhaps the Lightning Storm, but as we've got the devastating setbacks, and we want to be playing this anyway because it's much more versatile in a wider variety of matchups, although we are unlikely to be the beatdown most of the time. So this is very likely, and most matchups just going to be given the Lightning Storm effect of each unit getting -2/-2, and the rest of the time if we're against anything bigger than us or against any sort of armory decks, then this is just going to be stealing spells and attachments. The Island's Choice, in staying with versatile cards like the devastating setback, is most often just going to be killing an attacking enemy unit, but I'd like to see it just countering a Chalice or a Harsh Rule when we've finally got a board up on our opponent. So if Chalice is coming back, then I really want to have Azindel's Gift in my deck, and I want to have a little bit extra access to it with the Celestial Omen. And the Celestial Omen is another instant speed way of getting the Makto that's already been dealt with back into play. And along with the Wisdom of the Elders, there's a couple of ways that we can just surprise our opponents with the Inquisitor Makto block. Black Sky is still better than ever, and now she's a 4/5, can really close out the game really quickly, as well as probably being quite excellent at just stabilising against quite a lot of decks. She's now vulnerable to Vanquish, but if your opponent's using the Vanquishes on the Black Sky Harbinger, that's fine, because it's just making the Makto and the Eilyn just much more sticky. Eilyn's pretty good, but you don't really get to play for very often. The ultimate ability is actually pretty real, and against a lot of decks, against units that just have summon effects or units that don't really have any abilities whatsoever, like Grenadins, this is just pay 8 to destroy everything on the opposing side of the board, and this can really help you show up a matchup. And just traditionally in this game, things with huge toughness and endurance have been pretty good roadblocks. I mean, if we look at Sandstorm Titan and Tavrod, those are some of the most complained about cards in the game, so this is a little bit more expensive, but we're hoping to get there anyway because we do have a bunch of roadblocks and just ways of drawing cards and just actually getting there. Okay, so onto the power base. We've got a lot of basic sigils, and I'm perhaps playing one more Justice Sigil than I'd actually like to, but this is just for the Privilege rank. And I think that's a pretty important card here, just because we really want to be hitting our power drops. For the rest of the power, we've got a good mix of seats and crests, and the seats are a lot better in here as we're not playing the Waystones. As I just really want to have a bunch of undepleted power in here, and the seek power sort of help us to have a power in hand to be able to play the seats when we really need them to be undepleted. And the crests are just really good, and especially in a deck like this, aside from the slight value you get from having them in the same deck as Makto, where when you're really digging for the Makto, you are able to put anything that isn't Makto on the bottom of your deck. This will really help us to sort of prevent any unnecessary flooding or just not finding enough power, because all the time I'll probably play these out quite early so we're able to play our cards on time, and probably just going to be looking for power on top really. Okay, enough about the deck, let's get on to the games. Okay, as much as I really enjoy having multiple Wisdom of the Elders, I think this is an easy redraw here. And this is much better. I've got a little bit of disruption in the early game against the beatdown deck. We've got the Vara's Favour, and if not, we've got a Wisdom of the Elders into a Rain of Frogs. And I think right now we can just play out the Sea of Cunning. if we need to, then we can just play the Crest just to be finding the power. But I'd really like to just be playing the Wisdom of the Elders on free. And this Vara's favour is probably going to be popping the Aegis just before we do a Rain of Frogs over here. I think this is probably going to be a Primal carrier deck, so we want to sort of be getting this in there perhaps either after or before the Rose for the challenge. So I think right now we know what we're against. We can probably Crest up going a little bit more intelligently here. And Harsh Rule, I don't think we really want that against a Armory deck, as that can just be a dead card for a huge portion of the game. So I think this turn, rather than play the Wisdom of the Elders, we're just going to Vara's favour here. Just to set up this Rain of Frogs. Because our opponent would have to Alan's favour again, and this is probably only a 1-up really. They're not able to waste stone into having it. If they Islands favour our Rain of Frogs here, then that's fine. Fire the frogs off and see what we find. There's a fastballs here, so perhaps our opponent's got Wisdom of the Elders. Looks like they're... Okay, so they're firing the Wisdom of the Elders off first. Just give us a few more targets in here. So what do we have? So Permafrost is unlikely to do anything. Rise to the Challenge and Sheltering Rider. So we've got a pretty nice follow-up to the Sheltering Rider, as we can just pop it with the Black Sky Harbinger. So I think we can also just block it with Inquisitor Makto. So I think what we're going to do here is just take the Rise to the Challenge, as we've got an answer in hand for a Rune Hammer, and just stop them from being able to tutor in the carrier. There's also probably less copies of that in the deck, so they get a few amount of frogs in there. Next turn I think we will be doing the Wisdom of the Elders. I'm probably just going to do the Wisdom on our turn, just so that if we do find a Crest, we're just able to play it, and then if they play the Hammer or the... Okay, so the Blowing Frogs out, we'll just be able to play the Black Sky the next turn.
Let your spirit rise.
Not super concerned about taking 5 here. We'll fire off the Wisdom. I'll just hit the power anyway. We don't have the Justice required for Makto, sadly. But next turn we'll be able to kill the frog, pop the Aegis on here, and deal damage to our opponent, so if they do make the hammer, this will be quite nice for us here. So they may very well not. Okay, we got it. I was thinking that maybe they don't, because they suspect us to be the sort of Black Sky Harbinger deck. So, right, it doesn't really matter which power we play, so just do this. Get a little bit of life. This is likely to be useless for the rest of the game, because I don't believe our opponent has any actual protector, and I don't think they've got any weapons to put on it. So Permafrost is fine, but we're just sort of staring down here. I believe we had a... Keep the Black Sky just because it's a reasonable win condition. I believe we've got another Permafrost in hand, but I don't mind using a Harsh Rule just to unlock our Makto, or just have the threat of this if our opponent actually needs to Harsh Rule, and just give it us back. I should probably be paying attention to what our opponent reveals when we do use the sort of the discard spell. But I'm often a little bit too lazy to do this properly. Here we go. We're under no pressure here. That's what our opponent does with the scout. So it's a top, so it's they like it. So there's no real reason for us to act here. Don't need to chuck the Harbinger out quite yet. Just going to Wisdom on our opponent's turn.
Let your spirit rise.
And it must have been this that we've kept on top. So not quite the best here. But I think at this point we will use the... No, just use the Harbinger. It's unlikely we'll ever get through because our opponent's got 2 0-5s versus our 4-5, which wasn't actually very good. We should have just done the Harsh Rule just to pop the Aegis and kill everyone. Well, this has worked out well. Our opponent's used the actual card here. So we've just traded 1 for 1. More than happy for this. So Harsh Rule here, put the Makto back in the deck. So it's worth knowing that when you're going to be playing, just take your time with your decisions sometimes. I get a little bit hasty sometimes. That's why I play quickly all the time. I feel miles behind it, so our opponent's got to play more strategizers than us. Like if we do get a strategize, we'll perhaps be using it to tuck some of these removal spells down. And actually happy enough here just to slay. Like I really want to be using the Alice Chase just to be countering like a Rise to the Challenge. Especially as our opponent's getting closer to 11 power, where they're going to be able to rise and play a carry in the same time. The Shotgun Riders are an interesting inclusion. It's a much better target to hit the carry buff than a kind of Artisan, for example. But it's not been excellent in this matchup. So we'll have a peek in our opponent's hand, and they've got a Harsh Will and a Lightning Strike. So I don't believe Lightning Strike's actually very good against us, and neither's really the Harsh Will. But the Harsh Will can tidy up an island, so we'll take that. Then let's go to one card in hand. Do we really want to take 4? Well, we do have the 2 spell answer to carry if we really need it. So I'll just play this out. Get rid of their board and hopefully just draw the Makto before they draw in a carry.
It ends here.
Okay, so the Alpine track is cute, and probably another thing that's just not very good in this matchup. So don't really need to take the spell in the hand. Just remove this for now. We've still got a relatively slow way of dealing with the carry here, in that we can pop Rageous and then when she attacks. The opponent does get 10 Warcries, so that's not excellent, but we're just sort of hoping of finding this Celestial Omen here. And hopefully this will be able to do something that will end the game. So I'm thinking about getting Gift here, because my opponent's going to have quite a reactive hand, and eventually we will just be able to. So have a look what we've got. We do get to draw a card, play this Makto. We could get another Makto just so we've got 2 going. We can also get a Azindel's Gift, but I think what we actually want to do is just get the second copy of Makto just to have 2 loop in. I've got enough power just to... Oh, there we go.
There is no escape. Run, cowards!
From what I understand, our opponent's got perhaps more than one answer to this in the deck. It's just see nothing too exciting up in it, it's just the same Lightning Strike still. So we're able to get in here with our Maktos. If our opponent wants to trade, that's fine. And seeing as it didn't, I think I'll just pop the Aegis on this, just make it useless. I don't really want to take 10 next turn if they do have a carry in hand. Playing Devastating Setback alongside Maktos is a lot nicer now we don't have to worry about the permanent -2 there. So we've used the Vara's favour, so I'm happy to take the Seraph Signal. So we do still get to draw 2. I'm going to keep it in hand, just if we do find a Strategize. And we're dealing 10, taking 3, so we're dealing 7. My opponent's deal 3, so I think we still win this race. But if we really need to, then I'm more than happy to play the Harsh Will. If our opponent plays in a carry here and attacks, it's just going to get Isle's Choice, and then on our turn we'll Harsh Will. It's going to be tight, and the Permafrost probably does an excellent job here. The Shotgun Grinder is actually probably pretty good in like these beatdown decks, just because if they deal for it the first time, you've still got a 0-5 wall in the air. That's probably going to do the job. Don't just have some sort of fastball, but I'm not sure what. If it was Wisdom of the Odds, I'm guessing they would have played it, so perhaps it was a Torch. Now let's just get in there with Maktos, see what happens.
You don't want to make
okay, so we're going to have a chunk block with the Shotwing. So the Shotwing's not entirely useless here. Okay, so this is Lightning Strike and a Torch. Okay, well, I will play one of the powers here. Just because we've still got one in hand to strategize away. But if we do draw something that draws us some cards then. This sadly isn't very good here, but our opponent's only got one Shotwing Rider left, so I think I'll just... If our opponent plays a hammer, I really want to have an answer to it. So this might need to think about. We do gain 3 life off this, so I think I'll just play it. Because at least we can spend a couple of turns just like knocking into this and just gaining a bunch of life, just put ourselves out of any sort of burn range. And sadly we've... didn't think about the fact that... Oh, okay, we've got a Slay. Yeah, I should probably think about the fact that we do have actual removal in the deck. Just getting a little bit too ahead of myself there. Easy 1 power hand, so that's a nice easy redraw. And this is much more like it. We get to play Makto on time and do a strategize if our opponent's got something that we really need to be answering, then we should be able to search for it with this. And this is perhaps just one of the more controlling versions of a Makto deck that you can play, but I feel like we're probably quite fine against Makto mirrors because we've just got a bunch of answers to him in the Rain of Frogs. And Ricano's Bloodthorns, this is perhaps... Well, Ricano without a 1-drop is telling us that perhaps this is the 3-colour Gunslinger's deck, so got a pretty good idea of what we want to be looking for here. And Seat of Order is probably not, we just need to find more action. We've got plenty of power in hand, we've got 4 real and a Seek power, and no doubt we'll be able to find more if we need it with the Strategize. The opponents have some sort of fast effect, so they've probably got a Torch. Must compliment them on their choice of avatars, perhaps the best one in the game. Okay, so no 2-drop by our opponent, so we'll just whip her power out of the deck. So I think I'm going to get a Primal here because everything's pretty much counted for, and Primal's the only one that we don't have any tutors for. And we'll play Crest. Always bottom any power, and as much as I love Crest, especially the Crest of Cunning, just shove that on the bottom here. Because we've got ourselves pretty well set up to be able to strategize next turn and perhaps even Devastating Setback. So I think this is perhaps the point where we will Devastating Setback next turn, just to see what's going on. Because just want to make sure there's no sort of nonsense in hand there. But it's unlikely to be in this colour combination. Anything that can be a hard answer for the Inquisitor. Can also use Setback to deal with the Highwayman, but I'd rather just block, to be honest. I've got some sort of fast effect here. Still not clear, but I'm going to suspect that it's actually just a Torch. Perhaps it's one of those spells on Port Sounds. Okay, so Torch Annihilate, Rise to challenge, so we'll just take the Rise if we're able to play it. And the Annihilate's got no targets against us. And the Torch is not going to do very much, so just take the Rise. I think pretty much I'd like to just find a Rain of Frogs next turn, just to be able to get in there and nip anything that's really good against us, so perhaps any Maktos. Get to the point now where if our opponent draws Makto, they'll just play it.
Make each bullet count.
So just start off some strategizes here, get rid of some of this extra power that we don't need yet. So try and turn it into some actual spells. Ooh, okay, so I like this. I'll get rid of the Shadow. Play this, and I don't really need to play the Strategizers, but as I've got multiple copies and a Wisdom of the Elders, so I'll just not waste any power this turn. And I think now we're at the point where we don't really need to Strategize. We've got double Wisdom of the Elders, and I'm quite happy with the power I've got. But you are sort of more likely to flood when you've got a bunch of draw twos. And we also do have quite an expensive curve and just want to really be able to hit it. I wasn't super excited about the prospect of bottoming a Slay. And bottoming a power seems a little bit risky. don't want to be forced to play the wisdom on our turn just to find powers with it.
Count.
Okay, so we'll deploy the Makto. I'm pretty sure we're just going to get a block here and our opponent's going to use their torch. The other thing that perhaps dissuade me is if they play a... So this could be pretty rough for us. Okay, our opponent could post-combat play a Statuary Maiden and Torch. And that's pretty much the only thing I was going to be super worried about. Right now we do have the Celestial Omen. So I need to think about what I want to be getting here. But pretty low on cards. Although we don't have many threats, so they are able to just like accrue a pile of reactive spells here. There's a good case there just for the trying to make a instant speed Makto. We've got there anyway, so just got punished. We've just done it, just got a free block.
No escape.
I was actually pretty tempted to just play a Celestial Omen actually. I think we'll do that next turn. And we've got Eilyn and a Rain of Frogs, which I'm super happy about. So we'll get to attack for 5 there. Rain of Frogs now is probably the best time to play. We get to take out our opponent's carries, which is something I'm pretty happy with. Feeling super clever there. Although we did actually just punt by not just blocking her. Because we've seen that our opponent is, their hand is Annihilate, and when it posts, I'm just going to play out the Eilyn and just boot both of these. Try and finish the game as quickly as possible.
The throne is mine by right.
You see, Eilyn's Enters Play effect isn't a May, so if you do have a Permafrost on one of your opponent's units and it's the only unit they've got, it becomes very difficult to play the Eilyn. Fortunately, she's very big, so you should still be able to block the unit. It's one of the reasons why I'm only playing 1. It's nice if you're at 7 and you really need to just Permafrost something, you can just Celestial Omen for the Permafrost, who's got a 1 power answer to pretty much anything. And I might just be putting the one-hit poster on something here. Okay, just sending a message and the game's over. Okay, so I actually quite like this hand. We're on the play. If it was on the draw, this is probably a hand that you want to just mulligan just because you've got a bunch of clunky spells like draw cards and tutors. But I think as we're on the play, we can sort of get to get away with it because we're not going to be in immense amount of pressure. We just get to Crest here looking for a Justice Source, and then we're just going to get to play a card draw spell and hopefully find some action. Primal Sigil is probably not what I'm looking for. We don't have Channel Tempest in the deck, so we don't really need infinite Primal Sources. Okay, no point to give the jig up here that we're playing a free core deck yet, though it's unlikely to impact our opponents. Okay, so Tal is favoured. This could perhaps be Praxis tokens, or just a straight mono time deck. So I think right now we'll be playing Justice, and our opponent's time we're just going to play the Wisdom of the Elders, and then we're just going to untap and Rain of Frogs, just take out anything that's too juicy. I think it's very possible that our opponent's perhaps playing like a 2-colour, well, 2-influence Chalice deck, but I don't think it's super likely. I'd rather just get these frogs out as soon as possible. I've got a Frenzied Omnivore and a Predatory Carnosaur. So the Carnosaur's slightly worse for us. This can become a 5-4 and just gobble up our Black Sky Harbinger, but I think actually I want to leave him with the more expensive card in hand because it's very likely that we're perhaps able to Eilyn's Choice it. So we'll take the Frenzied Omnivore here. Must be a bunch of power in hand. Okay, so it's definitely mono time, Explorers and Dinosaurs, so opponent's having a great time there. And now we're in a little bit of trouble, so it it's very unlikely that we'll have any actual non-units, well, any attachments or spells in the hand. I mean, they could have just spiked perhaps an obelisk right now, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. We're going to take a beating here, so I'm just going to try and find a harsh rule here. I'll just put one of these devastating setbacks. And well, it's probably unnecessary. We've got a couple of straight removal spells here. I'm probably going pretty ham with the local raider here, and this is going to be pretty good against us.
Time to reflect.
And I think we're just going to draw some cards here. And then it's easy strategize there, probably just tuck in the devastating setback. And actually we've got 6, 7, 8, we've got 8 power, so perhaps we can also just bottom the Justice Sigil here. We're going to need 7 next turn. Though I think there was also a slight mistake there where I perhaps should have bottomed the dual influence and just played into it.
You cannot put out the light. You cannot put out the light.
And, okay, so the devastating setback is going to buy us a little bit of time here. But I think for now we'll just seek power. We'll find the Primal. I'll play the Black Sky Harbinger. Opponent's got some absolutely obscene sized dinosaurs in hand. They've got 2 killer dinosaurs. So most of our threats are not long for this world. But we get to gain 4 here. I think we really need to find a hash over here because we're pretty rough shape to this Relic Raider. And we'll need 5 power here, so can Wisdom. Now we drew a harsh roll, which I'm pretty happy about.
This ends now.
We're in great shape, so our opponent's just got these recurring Dawnwalkers, but I think it's very possible that we're just going to go find an Eilyn and just deal with these two. So there's +4/+4 on the Omnivore in our opponent's hand. So it'd be also pretty good. I'm going to take 8 here. I think we might actually just wait a little bit. So our opponent's going to have to play something here, and then hopefully we'll be able to, if they play the Omnivore straight up, we'll be able to play the Eilyn.
You cannot put out the light.
Focus,
So we've got the huge Omnivore in hand, and they really want to use this for value. Okay, so this is good. This bar is quite a bit of time. So I'm super happy about having to use the devastating setbacks just to gain 4 life here. But it will get us the Makto down, and yeah, let's get the Makto down and able to protect from the killer with the Isles Jaws. I think we've figured it out. We've figured it out.
What have we here?
Our opponent's still not buying it, so we'll just. Yeah, we've got 9 up, so we're able. So feeding time's good. That's the sort of thing that we're looking for. The actual hard spell. And what can our opponent have that's a echo spell? Which is a dinosaur in there. And I'll block it. Hospital's not under super pressure. But with the feeding time we're able to answer all of the Dawnwalkers, and then our opponent's just living off the top against us. Okay, sorry point. So this is still pretty rough for us. I think it is just going to be Eilyn here just to kill off these.
The throne is mine by right.
Right now we just want to be able to make some blocks and protect ourselves from the kill that we know our opponent's got. And then we'll be able to ultimate Eilyn in the next turn, and then we should be in good shape. So, right here. Okay, so we need to think again. So our opponent has a 5/4 with +4/+4, so even with the ultimate.
No more traitors.
I just need to try and race it. Just going to keep down charge. So this is this game feels a lot more difficult than I really want it to be. I think now we're in a position where we can just kill this. No, I'm not giving up yet because that was a 2-turn clock there. Okay, we're on the draw here with quite a slow hand because we've got some Sig power to give us free power, but we do have the Azindel's Gift and the Rain of Frogs. So if we're against a beatdown deck, we're pretty much dead here. Just a 4-cost removal spell, so I'm going to redraw this, hope we can do better. The Strategize can do some work in that hand, but it isn't a miracle work against perhaps Skycrag beatdown. And this isn't great. How's the choice? Get out of here. We just really need to find Primal this time, at this moment in time. Once we find the first piece of Primal, the Strategize will probably find us the second. And we're against the Screen. The 5 Primal Shadow decks could be a bunch of different decks actually. If it is Screen, then our Maktos are going to be pretty terrible because they are able to madness them. And yep, pretty much sure this is it. So this is probably going to be a rough match for us. Well, at least we've got rid of all the Combusts. Although Combust isn't super excellent against us anyway. Just because we're not going to have many units in play for them to actually madness and combust. It's probably just going to be a combust to kill our one unit, it's just going to go back into our deck. And no trouble here, not in the mood for slaying either of these 1/1s, but if we get any more juicy targets, this is very likely the deck that caps out at 3. So there won't have any Rinders in there at all. Guess we'll play the Makto now. Just because we want to try and race them, and at this point we don't have enough power to be able to madness and devour. But we're going to really struggle here if we don't find a Primal source. Taking a while on the combust here, so it's a rough choice. So put a Haunting Screen in the bin, which is sort of, I'm not sure that's a good sign for us or not. So we have a good answer to, well, if we draw a Primal, we've got a good answer to a bunch of cards that our opponent could be screaming at us. We'll pretty much just be buying time. So it could actually be that this Primal we're about to hopefully play could be quite a surprise. If this here is a Madness and Devour, this game's very likely over. Yeah, and that's probably going to do it. Go see if we'll draw a Primal and able to strategize into another source. Okay, so we find a Primal. So there's still a game to be had, and Privilege of Rank, no thank you. So So right here, the Slay's not excellent. I mean, neither is the Vanquish. I'm probably going to bottom that next. Mostly just want the feeding time system. It's going to deal with what our opponent's up to permanently. So I'll get rid of this Vanquish. Sadly, if our opponent makes our Makto again, we'll probably have to silence it off feeding time it. So this doesn't feel great. But we're currently not under much pressure. Just a couple of 1-1s. So this is the wrong drone to be targeting here. We should be targeting the little one. Just got a little bit trigger happy. But our opponent wants to devour it anyway. There's nothing to stop us, nothing to stop them from doing the old devour trick and then screaming it back to get some more units. Then right now we're just going to Wisdom in our opponent's turn, and they've made our Makto.
There's no escape.
Yeah, there is no escape. But we're just going to Wisdom the Elders here, and then we'll silence both of these two. And we do get to ultimate the Eilyn the turn after, which is probably pretty great for us. Let's get this Seat of Order down there, show our opponent that we meant business with the Primal.
The throne is mine by right.
And I think our opponent's perhaps got a Devour here again. Okay, so they're torching their own unit to just prevent the Devour. Which sort of makes me feel pretty safe about blocking here. Because although it might tell me that they've actually got multiple. Okay, so they're just giving me the choice here. Do I take 6 or do I let my opponent draw cards? I think at this point I don't want... Okay, well, so we're just dead anyway. So there's not much to think about here anyway. Just give our opponent the old GGs and move on to the next game. Okay, so easy redraw here, just the wrong influence, but the Crest will be nice on the draw. It's just, ultimately it's just going to be too slow of a hand with not enough interaction really. And this is pretty much better. We're going to be able to strategize and hopefully play this Makto on time. I think I'm going to lead with the Crest, just to try and find more power this way. And 3 Maktos, how could I refuse? Just a note for those at home, probably don't do that. That's probably a little bit too risky.
Draw, mister.
Especially as we are here playing against a Gunslinger's deck. Yeah, don't do this. This is just me, just too much of a fan of the Inquisitor Makto. And opponent's going deep here. This is +3, so it's actually they're not just going to put one unit and just attack it. So we'll just strategize in this case, in which case we shouldn't have played the power. The I'll choice we'll just bin this out of the way just because we do just want to play feeding time into Makto, into Makto, into Makto. And if we draw into a power on the way, we'll just play a Black Sky Harbinger, I guess.
Draw, mister.
So we're taking a 66 here. This is pretty much perfect because we've got to find a Primal Sigil here. I'm just going to slay the more annoying one of these, which is just this 3/3 over here. Because when we're blocking with our Maktos, we'll still be able to do some damage to us. Because I'm very interested in the thought of just blocking after our opponent spent all their power to use the sneak to make one of these be able to take out the Makto. For now it's just Makto time. The game's probably too far gone here.
That's cute.
Especially as our opponent's got a Cabal counter say. They will be able to put us in a pretty rough spot. And the Madness does it, wow. So this looked more like an actual traditional Gunslinger's deck. It was just the straight up Gunslinger's package, and I didn't expect the Madness package from that. Okay, we've got a bunch of power, and we're able to curve out into removal spell, black sky. So we'll probably keep this and hopefully find some sort of Wisdom of the Elders or just some Maktos along the way. And the Crest of Cunning from our opponent is what I like to see. He's going for a good match. I'll play the Crest first just so we are able to strategize next time if we need to. And Azindel's Gift, this is probably going to be good in this matchup, but we are miles away from it. I think we can keep it and then we'll just strategize it away if we don't actually want it. So say we're actually playing against like a Felm beatdown deck. And, oh, this is a Prep Scream, which is a rough matchup, so let's get this Azindel's Gift out here. It's very unlikely that we're playing against a control deck in these colours. And I don't fancy our chances there, just playing against any sort of madness Devour deck when you really want to be winning with Makto is just going to be pretty rough. They'll be able to just outcard us a lot of the way because they do have Godwin Fanatics. Also, they've got a pretty slow draw, but they will be able to craft quite a nice hand because with our scouts we're just going to need to find more power, and with theirs they're just going to find more and more action. They're just going to bottom power because they only really need 3, and 5's pretty much it for them. So this be 3, 4, 5 and 6 with the seek power, so I'll keep this and just grab a Primal just so that our 2 as well got still targets left. I won't just play some sort of infiltrate creature here, then we'll just feed in time just to stop that nonsense where it is. Specifically if they just play a Godwin Fanatic. Fortunately we would have a sort of saving grace in this matchup in that our opponent isn't able to discard and play. Okay, well, Felm Bloodcaster is probably just going to get slated. And this is actually just the control matchup, I guess. It would be quite ambitious to be how Hotness Screen back a Felm Bloodcaster. So I'm feeling pretty silly about bottoming that gift, but I should have done that the first time I saw it actually. I thought I was going to have access to so many ways of killing this Makto. I'd rather just get it out of the way so they have to use like a feeding time or something like that, rather than just hitting it in our hand with a froggy time. Because this way he only deals with one of them.
The Felm show no mercy.
Okay, well, I'm more than happy just to chunk in and trade here. I'll probably less so. And they do only have the Primal one here, so we'll just get in there with the Black Sky, just pop both these Aegises, and then next turn we're able to slay this and set back our opponent. Probably in the other order. Our opponent just gets to get it for 5, but the next turn we get to strike back for 9 if nothing too fruity happens. Okay, that's a bold move. I was really expecting to be feeding time in the Makto, so I thought that'd be more fun, but I guess they just really want to be in a racing situation with them. So right now we're just going to devastate our Setback our opponent, and just a torch, so nothing too exciting, and we'll slay this. Playing out the power just because we do have a draw spell in hand, and if we draw more things to play, like a power and a Makto, we're really trying to play. So I think our opponent may have just misclicked by feeding timing. And 2 of these are mostly fine here. Because if our opponent wants to pay 7 just to draw cards, then we're more than happy to do that. I'd have a slay for one of them, but I'll wait till the ultimate one and then I'll just slay the other. Don't need the Vara's Favour here. Don't really need to Vara Favour because we've got our opponent on a 2-turn clock anyway. Just use this to pop any Aegis if we need to. So if our opponent plays another champion, we'll be able to pop the Aegis and just slay it or anything like that. And we're taking a nice little 4 here. Okay, this is great. Damn it, okay, this is interesting. So probably just gonna Vara's Favour this.
Touch of shadow.
I suspect our opponent doesn't have a way of removing this Permafrost. But if they do, we've got the Arm's Choice back on. I don't really need to kill either of these two. Just let our opponent pay 7 if they want. They need to deal with the Makto right now.
The Found show no mercy.
Crimson Primal, rats. I've got quite the board here. And we've not really got the power to punch our opponent here. I sort of need to deal with this now. Because otherwise, are we... Okay, so... I'm attacking actually. Our opponent has to block here. And then this makes it a lot easier for us because we'll just be able to use 2 river spells on this. I think, just in case there's any sort of nonsense with reanimating, we'll just feed and time this. Opponents live off the top, but they do get to Annihilate. No, thank you. We don't want to draw that. Seems like it's probably a brick in this matchup with only Crimson Primal as a target. So they are going to activate one of these, so we'll hopefully... Actually, we should have just left that on top. Well, then if our opponent doesn't activate and just plays something else big, then we'll just be super dead. And... do we get to respond to this? I think we do. So, this is pretty tight to the rope, but this is my kind of matchup. If my opponent hit our Makto would have been in play, and then we probably just conceded on the spot because that would have been us in big trouble. Let's see the Omen here, just to put this Makto in play, make it so our opponent is pretty dead on the way back.
No escape.
As our opponent played the Wisdom of the Elders first, we know we're pretty safe here. Perhaps just perhaps they've got like, I don't know if I can't remember if they played a power of the episode. If they've got like power and permafrost, that'll be pretty good against us, and that'll kill us. But it's just the grounding, so go up on the GGs. It was a hard fight by them. I think it actually turned out to be pretty correct that they feeding timed the... That's what our opponent's up to. Oh, I wanted to range points. We wanted to see what our opponent's deck was about because I was really interested in seeing what that was. This seems like a cool deck. We're just seeing that they made the right choice because if they'd have left us with the Blood Sky Harbinger in play, we'd have been at like 20 life. Okay, last match from me, but sadly not a keepable hand, so easy redraw there. This is more like it. Got a bunch of power, just gonna Crest here, don't really care what my opponent's up to because I'm doing Makto, and second Makto, yes please. I really just want to find more powers just to play these Maktos out, and probably pretty good. My opponent's playing Madness there, well, this is the last matchup, so I just want to have some fun. My opponent's playing Praxis as a base, so the Maktos are probably going to be pretty good here. And if it's a Crest, it's not where we don't actually need. I think we'll actually keep this setback just because we can play it next turn. Just make sure there's no purifiers in there. Moondown, okay. So maybe this is like Explorers or something? So we'll setback first. Xeno Initiation and Torch. Torch is like whatever. Xeno Initiation is probably a little bit more frustrating to deal with. We'll get this Crest Avengers down. It's actually reasonably good, so I'll keep this Strategize because it'll buy us back on Maktos pretty quickly if they get dealt with. So the fact that we saw is Xeno Initiation on our opponent's deck is pretty good for us because it means that they're going to be a unit-based Praxis deck, in which case we're going to be in good shape. So right here they get to attack him and torch our Makto, but that's mostly fine. We're just going to follow up with another Makto, and if they play like a Sandstorm Titan, then I'm just going to slay that. Like, just in the point here where I just want to get my opponent hellbent. So we could really just be racing in the air as well. Well, perhaps should torch first just because it gets for a little bit extra damage because the Dawnwalkers do have trample. Yeah, overlord in this game. I think we're just going to Strategize first, put this power on the bottom. If we draw Makto, we'd be super happy. And we don't. Probably should have played power first, but I was pricing it slaying this, and we are a little bit closer to just having 2 Maktos out. Like, blocking actually was a mistake here, just because we actually gave our opponent a use for the torch. But if they're paying 5 to draw a card, that's more than fine. So I think at this point, just because I don't really want to get Counter Sword, I am going to keep up the Annihilate. I probably was put a Z initiation on here, and I'm probably just going to Annihilate that as well. So I'm probably going deep here. And now we'll just Crest. We'll keep up the Annihilate and the Eilyn's Choice, and bottom that Seek Power. Just time to start getting fruity and get rumbling. Really not regretting the decision to block and try and just get cards out of our opponent. We would have been in much better shape if we'd just not tried to be too clever and just being real with a 5/5 flyer in the air here. Because evasion is pretty key against this sort of deck, and we do probably... Okay, so there was a nice Annihilate target here. We do need to save some amount of removal for the Sandstorm Titans here, and just being able to hold the Eilyn's Choice is pretty great, because if there is like a predatory counter, so we're able to just kill it 1-for-1 with the Eilyn's Choice instead of it being able to turn itself into sort of a 2-for-1. Opponent paying 5 here to draw cards is pretty great. They're dealing quite a bit of damage to us, but I really just want to find a Makto. Quite happy just to play this here, because if our opponent uses their Counter Sword to kill our Makto, we're still in okay shape. We still get to get in there for, well, 8 next turn actually. Yeah, because we get to ultimate and kill everything our opponent's side of the board. Okay, so that was JPS with a side order of frogs, and the Rain of Frogs was actually excellent. This is one of my favourite spells actually, so obviously my favourite unit is Makto, favourite spells, Rain of Frogs. Just really like what this can do, especially because although I don't actually write down the information, just knowing every card in your opponent's hand is pretty sweet, because you don't really get that same information when using Devastating Setback. You do only get to see the spells and attachments, but the Rain of Fog is going to tell you everything, and you'll be able to figure out that your opponent's hand is just... The rest of it's just going to be power, if you're not able to see anything with this. So, I like the deck. Probably wouldn't recommend crafting the Islands, because this is just more a pet card of mine. I just crafted my 2 as soon as this set came out, so if you did the same thing, this deck's probably quite an easy crafter. If not, you can just replace this with Sword of the Sky King, or even Channel the Tempest, but I do really like the ability, and if this costs 6, this would be very good, because it's just able to come down at that point of the game where you just really want to be stabilising. If there was any sort of like ramp ability in Justice, then this card would be even better. We had a pretty good power base actually for the most part. Just having all this dual influence is pretty good. And then we've got a bunch of tutoring, because we've got the Seek powers and the just the one of Vara's favour in the privilege rank, just to get everything up there, because we don't really have that much of a tight power influence requirement here. We do also need Justice, Primal, and then we just need Double Shadow, but for the most part we can sort of get by with just sort of like a double single here. It's not like against, it's like playing like a Praxis deck or just some sort of like Heart of the Vault pile where we just need like triple. So this is probably a lot easier than it feels, although Praxis does have the benefit of having the Trailmaker, whereas we don't. We just have the Seek powers. I don't really like having Feeding Time in the deck. I think this would probably help shore up the Scream matchup, but that's still probably not even remotely winnable as matchups go, because they do get to Madness out Maktos, and if they're able to Madness out Makto and like just combust our island, then it's probably just game over. We just don't have enough units to recover from that. Ultimately, I enjoy playing this kind of deck. I don't play it perfectly, but you came here to figure out where to spend your dust, not to learn from the great masters. So as always, thanks for watching. I've been The Resolves, and this has been JPS Control.